Hey everybody, in today's video I'm gonna be showing you the only rule that you need to understand in order to be able to crush everybody below 1200. So before we actually dive into the model games where I explain my thinking process while playing against lower rated opponents, first I think it could be an interesting idea to ask what would you play in a number of positions and figure it out whether you already have this rule down or maybe it's something you still need to practice in order to pick up into your game. So for that, the first position is on the board. Definitely take your time. You can pause the video here and try to come up with what would you play for black here. Because what I feel like most of the lower rated players would do, I would just explain my thinking process, yeah, as a lower rated player. The main idea that I'm trying to actually highlight in this video is that all the lower rated players simply focus on calculating concrete lines. They don't have such things as improving their position, slowly setting up a pawn break or stuff like that. They're like, okay, what would you play as black here? Most of the lower rated players would be like, okay, I can go knight f6, hit the queen. That's a move. They will play queen b6, hitting the pawn. That's another move. Maybe those that are a bit better would go c5, which is still decent move, but not the main point that I'm trying to make. c5 is reasonable, but not my recommendation here. And the actual move that I think is quite instructive, and that's what I ended up playing in the game. Probably it wasn't a very easy guess. I just play h6. All of our pieces are on good squares. We just need to make a luft and improve our position. Now, realistically speaking, the position that we have on the board should never really be won by any side. This would just end in a draw with correct play. But if you're playing against lower rated opponents, so let's say below 1200 in blitz, or let's say below 1500 in rapid, that would be like kind of the equivalent. You can simply get a solid position, start waiting, and you're gonna be surprised how aggressive they start playing, and the only thing that you have to do is just sit there, wait, and collect their pieces. Now, in the game, my opponent played the move rook ad1. Very logical, very standard. And once again, I could try out something aggressive like knight f6, c5, or queen b6, as you have probably already guessed. But no, here I just wait and make the move a6. You're actually gonna be surprised how quickly this translated in only 5 moves from like a completely equal position to just dead one position for black. So without further introduction, let's just dive right into the games. Okay, getting another Caro-Kann game, and this time facing 760 rated opponent, and it's going for the classical variation. So against this, you definitely want to avoid the most common mistake, which is playing knight f6, because after e5, you're not going to be having a good square for the knight. So it's important that first we destroy white's pawn center, and only then we're going to be playing the move knight f6, inviting these double pawns, the so-called Tartakova structure. Now I expect them to mainly take bishop d3, common mistake, and knight g3, they occasionally play that as well. Okay, going to c3, it's fine. It's not like losing or anything for white, but we just have a pretty easy way to develop, which is bishop f5, e6, knight e7, bishop e7, let's say, castle. Whenever they play bishop d3, we exchange, and then yeah, I think we can just think about perhaps playing b5, knight b6. Okay, I told you this. Now we're gonna try to play that way against literally anything that they do. I'm just trying to show you like the simplest strategy, and you can just do that even if they deviate and they play weird stuff. It's just pretty solid in general. I would say maybe we're gonna be proven otherwise in this game. Who knows? So that's the beauty of these rating lines. Just gonna get the knights, bishop e7 castling next, on bishop d3 we take, as I said. Okay, just gonna go bishop e7. Always you can place the bishop there. d6 is also an option, but specifically against bishop g5 is even safer. We're gonna castle and get an even position, okay? And you need to understand that what you do when you have an even position, you wait, and your opponent is gonna self-destroy. What do you mean he's gonna self-destroy? Just like that? Yes, let's watch out. He's gonna castle short. I'm gonna castle short. Like if he castling long, he's asking to lose. If he does that, that's like usually he's gonna get mated there. But hopefully he goes short and then it's just gonna be a pretty equal position, or I'm just gonna let him self-destroy. So let's see. He goes there. Okay. Now we can make a queen move. That's just connecting rooks. I'm just gonna get rook on the open file, make useful moves, and then just wait. And he's gonna do something silly. I'm telling you guys. We play queen c7 connecting rules. Still, we're like playing according to the basic opening rules, just making common sense moves. But at some point, we're just gonna let him go wrong. I mean, you get the idea. No need to repeat. Like a broken record. So just gonna go rook d8, knight c5. Yeah, rook e1, rook on the open file. I'll do the same. Get this rook over there. I can even play h6, try to make a luft. I'm kind of afraid that h6 gives him the idea that the bishop is gonna be good like well placed there. So I'm just kind of not playing h6, but I could do that for sure. Okay, now it's gonna be a tough position for him because he's running out of useful moves. I'm telling you. The opponent is definitely gonna... Yeah, he starts to see like these guys, they cannot like really wait. They need to do something every single move. Now, that's actually not a bad move. Like, not at all. I can in fact go for takes. Bishop e7 and knight c5 is a hidden resource. But then bishop d8, knight d3, bishop c7, knight e1. That's like kind of messy. I don't like that. So I'm just gonna be like, okay, I need this bishop defended. That's the problem of the position. Let me take care of it. I'm defended plenty of times on f6. I'm just gonna sit tight, guys. Here, I'm just kind of like a hedgehog. I'm just waiting for him and trying to, yeah, and just react when we feel the moment. We just attack like a hedgehog, but more aggressive version of a hedgehog, if there is such thing. So, I mean, I think technically speaking, a hedgehog is aggressive just by defending, because we're gonna try to like stay the same way, just stay passive and let the opponent just hurt himself. Just do rook e8, okay. Let's see, bishop there, fine. He actually, dude, this guy just is coming up with good moves. What is going on? Just gonna exchange now since e7 is yeah, protected. Bishop takes, take it with the rook. Yeah, that's fine. See, actually 800 rated opponent playing a pretty good game. I mean, rook takes on e4 would be typical blunder there. Here you have a win, guys, by the way. Feel free to pause the video and try to find... This is quite instructive. Because the winning move is actually knight c5 in that position because of the pin. The rook is pinning the queen and we're gonna be forking. So he takes the correct way. And okay, what are we gonna do? Just improve our position. Make luft. Okay, you noobs, don't get mated. Make luft. Okay, let's see what white is gonna do. I feel like he's gonna play knight e5 sooner or later. I feel like he either plays rook ad1 or knight e5 or c4. Those are the three moves that I'm expecting my opponent to play. Okay, what am I gonna do? I could play b5, but yeah, I'm just gonna be waiting, okay? Make a sort of useful waiting move. He's gonna play c4 or knight e5 now. So I'm just gonna wait. If he plays knight e5, we can exchange and try to play that position. If he plays c4, I can wait for him to go d5 and then I have a trick with knight f6 and then we win a pawn. So I think it's either one of these two. So yeah, he plays knight e5 indeed. Now we can take this. We can also try to play around it with knight f6. But I feel like we take. He's gonna take with a pawn and then we go rook d7, try to fight for the file. And if in a symmetrical position, you're controlling the only open file, you're doing pretty well. That's what we're trying to do here. See, I just played a6, just waiting for him to play this move, give me the possibility of fighting for the open file. Yeah, don't take, because we need to just fight for this. If he takes, important question for you guys, what do you take, rook or queen? There it's actually quite important to be taking with the queen, because, well, we just secure that we control the open file. I know, very complex strategy, but that's why I became I broke the like 1500 barrier a while ago because of this very subtle knowledge. Okay, rook d3. Now I can just take that and start attacking the weak pawn. Why is that a weak pawn? Well, it is a weak pawn because it cannot be protected by other pawns. So I could do that with queen d7. I could also play a move like queen b6, hitting b2, or a move like queen a5, hitting a2, but creating a hidden threat of rook d3. I think I'm just gonna go for the hidden threat. Opponent's gonna play like a3, not really seeing what's coming. And I'm actually having this as a pretty deadly trick. That if he takes, the queen is getting overloaded. Like the queen has to defend both of these guys, and this is a pretty nice tactical trick. If he takes, I'm gonna be picking up e1. And if he plays b4, trying to trick me, well, I can just move the queen and defend the rook. So, see guys, just from like such an even looking positions, while you are crying about, oh, we play Caro-Kann, so drawish, so boring. I mean, how can I beat like somebody that's trying to play for a draw? See, I just played a6, one waiting move, gave me the open file, 2 moves later we win. That's simple. Nothing really rocket science. I'm telling you. Keep telling you that for like the last 100 videos or so, but I feel like you guys are not listening, so please pay attention. Okay, what do we do now? We apply the strategy. We just bore him to death. You don't care about objectively winning. You just want to make sure your opponent is super bored and he just leaves the game and you win on time. How you win it like a pro. We're gonna trade his queen. And now he's just down a pawn in a rook endgame while our rook is more active. So he's definitely not in a very happy spot right now, at least mentally. And I'm gonna go rook d3, keep attacking the pawns. Kind of forcing rook a1, I feel like. Oh, he goes a4, okay. Now, I could go rook d4. And the only way to cover this pawn is rook b1. But then I can switch actually to another weak pawn, the e5 pawn, which is simply weak because it's way too advanced. So this pawn can sometimes be an asset in the middle games because it's taking away the f6 square for the knight and potentially give white an attack. But in the end game, it really falls off. Because you see it's like actually unable to be protected. And look at the difference between rooks. My rook doing a lot of work. His rook just being very passive, and that's why black is completely winning. White is unable to keep everything defended, and my opponent simply resigns, which is kind of surprising. But maybe we can say that the endgame technique just speaks for itself. So, quick interruption. If you're really enjoying this kind of content, please consider liking the video because it really helps the algorithm boost the video to more people. You know that is very much appreciated. So let's just jump right back into the action. Of course, that was not the case, but I think the analysis is gonna be quite interesting to you. So we started with the opening. Just did like nothing special, exactly the strategy that I told you. Get developed, queen c7, yeah, just a normal move. Getting rooks connected, rook to the open file. 94, okay, just need to protect my bishop so I don't lose my pieces. He goes there, we start exchanging and we get even position, yeah? You're like, okay, white has more space, how could you ever win such position? You make Luftnubs, then goes rook d1, okay, what to do now? Okay, just white is better, there's no way you can win this. Okay, wait, see what he does. Chances are, your opponents in lower rated games, they don't know to wait, okay? They just need to do something. They go 95. See? Already worse. You see the evaluation? It's like not dramatically worse, but already in black's favor. We take, he takes with the pawn. We go rook d7, -1. Wait a second, how did that happen? Yeah, from like this position where you're like wondering, okay, white made actually no mistake. If I tell you like with the white pieces you have Magnus Carlsen, maybe there's like a small chance you believe me. Because I just played pieces on very natural squares and play like very okay game. One move away, you play a6, you wait. He does this and you're already better. How are these things happening? And this is like what you need to understand why it's actually so easy to win these kind of low rated games below 1500 at least. Is that these guys don't know how to wait. You just have a solid position. you wait and they ship it. They just destroy their position. So then, of course, when you start playing against 1800 kind of guys, still they also destroy themselves quite a lot. But it's not that like obvious as in this game. So you saw we went for this position, we took 25, boom, -2. Reminding you, this is the position that we had 4 moves ago. Just slightly better for white, okay? Just tiny bit better. I mean, just equal in my opinion. And then 4 moves later, we're here finding ourselves in a -2 position with this rook d3 little trick. And he cannot even take because I would be winning even more pawns. Like I would have been winning so many pawns. This was actually insane. This is ridiculous. Winning 3 pawns. I haven't even calculated it this far, but it's like really funny. Then you go queen d2. Make sure they're like really bored and they quit. So this is actually just like worked out perfectly, guys. This is our plan in a nutshell. We just did this strategy. Opponent could definitely still fight on, but it's at this point he's like so bored. It's like, come on, I've got like better things to do with my life. I could go ahead, unsubscribe from Alex Banza, maybe just watch some Gotham chess videos because they're like better anyways. And why keep trying with this boring endgames? I mean, just do something else. So he just resigns, and this is why we're winning, guys. This is why we're winning. We're doing this strategy, and it always works. So with that being said, I think we can move on to the next video. I meant to say next game. Okay, everybody, looks like we're getting a game, and opponent opening up with e4, and then goes for a pretty weird but interesting d3 move. Gonna go d5, and let's see. Okay, he just goes for takes, meaning that he has no opening prep. The funny and interesting part about this is that there is like a pretty ongoing meme with this variation where white goes knight f3, d4, and then knight g5. It's actually a pretty trappy variation where a lot of the black players are just losing their queen instantly. It's like a pretty funny thing. If I'm able to remember this, I need to show you this in the analysis tab after the game. But the opponent does not go for that. And by the way, in this position, they are supposed to go for something like... Well, honestly, knight f3, d4, d4, playing the endgame is the modern way of playing the Caro-Kann at the top level. Or just another way of making a draw other than playing the Berlin defense. But they also go for d3, d5, and knight d2 kind of game, trying to play for fianchetto. None of that happens here. We see e d5. Just gonna take with a pawn, try to keep our strong center. And okay, looks like we're back into the exchange line, but with an extra 10 point against the exchange. You have a very simple setup to remember. Knights are going to the natural squares. Bishop goes to g4 if possible. If not, let's say if they play h3, we can just develop it to f5. We just want to get it active, and then e6, and I think you can literally play this bishop always on e7 and you're gonna be fine, and then castle. So yeah, you just need to know 2 moves of theory and remember where your pieces belong. Come on, guys, I know this seems overwhelming, but I think on a good day you should be able to find this. So I'm gonna try to listen to my own advice and play these moves. And then this next if possible. Yeah, I told you. It's not because it's hanging the bishop, so bishop f5. I even prepared you for this in advance. There's like absolutely no excuse if you go wrong with this. He plays a3. Okay, we go e6. I said bishop e7 with castle. That's what we're gonna do. As long as we don't hang any pieces, hopefully. So we do that. We get a very solid setup. Let's see. Opponent clearly doing typical beginner mistakes, just moving the same piece twice, moving pawns on the side, and now, okay, he's attacking my bishop. What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna step back, try to not hang the bishop. Very advanced gameplay, I know. That's why you signed up for this channel. So, okay, g5, hitting the f6 knight. Now we've got a choice. If you're like more of like an educated chess player, you could go knight e, knight d6 and reroute it to f5, supporting that weak square. However, if I understand my demographics correctly, that may be a bit trickier to find, but it's pretty nice. Also, perhaps jumping to c4. So I think the more, let's say, the easier move to find is just try to keep your knight as aggressive. I mean, not aggressive, but as active as you can. I would say d7 would be more active than e8, but also there is this knight e4 move that's, moving forward. That's like usually, there is this saying that Russians never retreat. Well, I'm not a Russian. I'm just getting destroyed by any kind of average Russian coffee chess player. But 94 is a pretty good move applying that strategy, and perhaps even the best. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with that. It's as much as I wanted to just play 97, 94 is just like such an active move not to go for it. I'd be like really mad if I don't go for it. And you don't want to see me mad, so I'm just gonna go 94. You don't want to see me when I'm hungry, guys. Just grab a sneaker. I'm just gonna go DE now. You could definitely take with a bishop, but if you put these things in balance, it's just gonna like trade and it's gonna make a move and he wins the tempo. If you take this way, he has to move the bishop and it's your turn. You can do whatever. So you win a move. And actually, we may have even hit a lockbox here. And, well, I actually meant to say lockbox, which means we just got lucky like I always do in these videos. Somehow I still make every single time to 2500 by getting lucky, but that is maybe a different chessable course that you'll have to buy in order to learn such skill. So, bishop to e2. Now, actually, if you're paying attention to the board, you should be able to realize that the pawn is no longer defended. You may be wondering, wait a second, how did that happen? The pawn was like defended a few moves ago. Well, yes, but it was because it was not attacked by anything. So after 94, look at what the bishop does. It's attacking it, plus it's supported by the queen. So the knight takes, pawn takes. He only has one defense. We've got two attackers. We collect the pawn. And that is how advanced my math skills are ever gonna go. 2 is better than 1. But the nice thing about chess is that it's sometimes telling you that 1 is better than 2. Which explains why I have no friends. So here we're just gonna take and go for queen h4 check. Passer sees the check, gives a check, hitting the knight, forcing knight f2. And okay, this is kind of the first moment where we actually need to think about a game. So far, we've just been kind of like autopiloting, applying standard rules and blah, 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 this kind of stuff. Okay, what to do? We've got a winning position. How should we capitalize? Okay, you see that white has a bit of a weak king. What do you do with that? You completely ignore it, of course. You need to finish development. Just play rook d8. Bring another piece, and what this does, placing the rook on the open file. And now, what actually that's gonna give us, we can actually go for something like 95. The knight is untouchable because of the pin. That's a nice thing, of course, but I don't expect you to see such advanced concepts. Therefore, we're gonna stick with a simpler move and gonna go 97. Threading to play knight f5, just improving our knight and yeah, trying to give white a hard time playing this position. He just goes king d2, which is leaving the f2 knight undefended, which we're gonna be taking, okay? That is for sure, no question about it. And the very next move, I'm looking forward to trade, just so you know, in case you had any doubts. In case you ever expected any entertaining chess from this channel, I'm just telling you to chill out for a bit. Just bishop h5, go for endgame, and yeah, you already know. We'll just try to squeeze the life out of my opponent in the next moves by playing in the most boring fashion ever. So, rook to f1, hitting my queen. Now just exchanging all the pieces as I promised. I guess that is one of the reasons why you guys enjoy this channel, is because I'm always sticking to my word, and I do play the most boring way possible, and you really appreciate the consistency on that. So just f5. Okay, now we got a completely winning positions. You may be wondering, all right, how should we proceed here? Which, you know, many people may still end up converting this position, but they really kind of struggle a bit. And what you need to understand is that, well, we've got the active knight, and I mean, the extra knight, I meant to say. Not sure why I said active, but we've got the extra knight, and we just need to trade everything. It's not that easy to trade now because there are no open files. So what do we do? Open file, e5. I'm gonna be like, oh no, my pawn. But then I'm gonna act like it was a sacrifice. I'm gonna play knight c6 and take it back. So he goes h5, we don't care. We just exchange a pair of pawns, hoping that he takes this way. We open up the file. Okay, he does that. Now we've got two juicy pawns. It already ain't too bad. It looks a bit simpler to play now, doesn't it? I know. How surprising. Okay, he goes rook e1. Can definitely hit him with a check, but then king e3 is gonna be hitting this pawn. That is a bit weird. So I'm just gonna go for like knight f5 could be a nice little idea, and I'm just gonna show you this because it's way too beautiful. I'm gonna be like, oh no, my pawn. You can take the f4 pawn, but there is actually a bit of a funny trick that you can go ahead, try to pause the video and find it on your own, because that is something you should be able to find during the games. And the point was that if rook f4, I had knight d4 check, king e3, knight c2, and then winning. He just goes king d2, of course, not falling for any cheap tricks. Why would he? Okay, let's do knight g3, hitting the rook and making sure the f4 pawn is defended. Rook g1 sort of only move not to lose on the spot. And then what do we do next? We need to bring the rook into more of like an active position. So we're going to play rook e8. So both rooks should be supporting our juicy pawns. So we just want to push this. Careful not to blunder the knight. But even if you blunder the knight, the pawns are so strong that it might still be a win. So going to start with a check, expecting king d3, and I just want to show you the power of these two pawns. And by the way, guys, just because you are my friends, I'm gonna give you a pro tip. Okay, maybe I actually shouldn't blunder the knight. That's not like ideal. I could actually play f3, rook g3, f2, and that's a win for a fact. Maybe I'm actually gonna do that. I don't encourage you to sacrifice when you don't have to, but I will, just because yeah, I want. So rook g3, gonna play f2, hitting the rook. By the way, for those of you that are freaking out watching how my clock is ticking down, don't worry about that, because we do get 5 seconds increment. It's true that the opponent played very fast in this game, and perhaps that's a pretty common mistake, that they just play too fast for no reason. And do you think it's like actually helpful that he has 4 minutes in a completely hopeless position? Of course not. With increment, no. If this was like game without increment, sure, that could be a good strategy to win on time. But with increment, there is no such bullshit going on. King takes. Just gonna promote my pawn, and yeah, that's how you win with your extra pawns. Just get even more pieces, and you can do this strategy. Just start collecting all of your opponent's pawns. So okay, what did we just see in this game? What was this guy doing besides blundering all of his pieces, you may be wondering. So after d5, first of all, yeah, I just want to mention this kind of famous trap that white has. After knight g5, the black players are going e d3, and then they don't know what to do here, which is knight d7, but they play knight f6, and white has a pretty juicy knight f7 idea. And pretty sure if you're onto this video, you already fell for that at least once. You let me know in the comments if you did. So the way to counter this would be to play knight d7, so there is no longer any trick. But what I like to do personally is just to go something like knight f6 and not give them any fun game. And if they play knight 3 now, you can still ignore it, but even bishop g4 gives like a pretty big advantage for black. So that's how I like to deal with that gambit and relate it to the game. Yeah, there was this trick that I wanted to highlight. Yeah, so we played this position. Here I was just like rerouting towards f5, hitting e3, and then maybe queen h6, attacking the pawn or something along those lines. He gave me the free knight, which was very nice of him. We took, and then e5, opening up more files. Now we got the 2 pawns together, and here the main point was that on rook takes on f4, I had knight takes on d4. So hitting him with check and threatening to win the rook. So this is, of course, an easy win. And in case he would have gone for king e3, there is knight c2, another fork. I know, how surprising. And then can exchange, pick up the rook with an easily winning position. So that's when I asked you to pause for a second. And yeah, the rest was pretty simple. Okay, here I just kind of went a bit aggressive with f3. If you are not sure whether the pawns are winning or not, you can definitely take your time and maybe maneuver the knight. Make sure you like stop these pawns and then do your thing, push the pawns. You can take your time, do it slower. When you're up so much material, if you're not sure about the win, you shouldn't sacrifice like ever. So okay guys, I hope you find this game somewhat instructive. We just stick to the basic opening rules against the exchange, developed my pieces as I promised, and well, then just took the free pawn, and that was kind of enough. So with that being said, I think we can just move on to the next game. All right, everybody, getting the black pieces, and it looks like we're warming up with a Caro-Kann, and against knight f3. Just gonna go d5, expecting an exchange. It's actually d3. Wow, this guy is gonna hit us with a trap, I swear. Should we actually let him go for the trap and try to come back with a win? That would be like too funny, but I'm not gonna do that. Oh, he doesn't even remember to play it properly. So knight d2 is not a thing. He's supposed to play knight g5. That's the YouTube trap that he's probably trying to do. After knight fd2, you can just take on d3 and have an extra pawn, which I think I'm just gonna do for the sake of highlighting this strategy of gaining an extra pawn and exchanging all the pieces. So just gonna go knight f6, try to develop the bishop onto an active square. You can go g4, you can also go f5. Perhaps f5 would make more sense here, trying to highlight the fact that he's got an isolated pawn that we can attack, and then just go e6, bishop e7, castle, knight goes to d7. Okay, very simple and straightforward. I'm literally gonna play this way against anything that he does. Okay, just very simple. That's what we try to do in this series. We're not like really trying to refute our opponent's mistakes like in the craziest way possible, but just trying to put ourselves ahead with simple but pretty straightforward ideas, just solid chess, and we don't want to like get lost in like the small details. Okay, like for instance, this is just a hanging pawn that we can take. We don't want to get lost in the little details that may be keeping you away from like learning the fundamentals, like those really big game-changing ideas. So yeah, just going bishop e7 castle. We've got the extra pawn. We want to make sure we develop all of our pieces, and well, whenever you see a knight like that on e5, usually it's kind of good to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna do that right now. Of course, it's not the only move in the position, but I think exchanging is gonna put you in a good habit, and then we play the knight again. So it was under attack, and we aim for another trade. So keep exchanging. The more pieces we trade, the closer we're gonna get to the winning king and pawn endgame with the extra pawn that we want to get. And here we've got a choice between e d5, c d5, and queen d5. If you take with a pawn, I'm kind of afraid of this check, so that's why we don't do that. Taking this way is kind of odd. I just like taking with the queen, developing it since it cannot really be attacked by white, and it's just kind of controlling all these nice squares. And next up, we can just castle, bring a rook onto the open file. Exchange queens if he's like offering, of course, and just want to double up to the open file. That's pretty much a simple strategy here. He probably wants to go rook d1. Can't really blame him for that. We're just gonna get castled. There's also bishop b4 check that can be played, forcing bishop d2, and then we can exchange everything. Perhaps I like that idea a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's what we do. I think that's most instructive. Only move that. So we're gonna take, and here it's important that, okay, you could definitely pick this pawn up and still it's very good, but I think just you really wanna secure the queen trade, and then you could even long castle. Here long castle is like the best move. I'm just gonna play it because we anyways wanna get the rook onto the open file, and the king is nicely there protecting and supporting our 3 against 2 majority. So okay, what do we wanna do next? This pawn on e5 is a bit weak, and we also want to double up on the d file. So with this, we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Or yeah, I mean, heard this is not like politically correct to say anymore, but I forgot what the correct version was. So maybe you guys let me know in the comments if you're into this type of thing. And okay, what am I gonna do? I could definitely check him and try to exploit his pretty weak move, but I'm just gonna keep doubling up, going for the typical strategy. Bishop c4 just loses the bishop. Against g4, I can do this and pick up that pawn, but okay. This may not be the easiest thing to spot for somebody that's playing in 900 blitz. So I'm just gonna slide back and okay, he tries to do this. I'm just gonna make a Luft. Could also do h5. In general, I would recommend you guys, whenever you can make a Luft, to go more aggressive and play h5. I think here h6 was a bit better, but I want to get you used to this idea of playing h5. I feel like most of the times it's a better move. Just take with the bishop. And next up, we've got a pretty huge threat of just playing rook d1, which will be exchanging the rooks. That's pretty nice. Definitely getting very excited of a potential endgame to come. So yeah, I've got this square really nicely protected. So just gonna offer a rook trade, and then the last part of our marvelous plan, very evil plan, you know how they say, we want to exchange bishops as well. Oh, that's what he does. That's my lucky day. Obviously, I could like win a piece, I guess, with rook d4 and rook d3, but I just want to see this plan in action. So unfortunately, it's not going to be very easy to trade all the rooks, but hopefully we can highlight that somehow. Okay, now we just infiltrate with the rook onto the second rank. Okay, perhaps I should pay a bit of attention to his potential counterplay. Could really get in some rook g1, rook g7, and then he's got a passed pawn. But I think we just have g6 whenever that happens. So perhaps I could go rook d2, but then maybe h5. If I go rook b2, he has rook g1. There is no way for me to like really save that pawn. So I'm gonna start with g6, just kind of fixing this pawn. And then I'm gonna go rook d2. That's a bit of a prophylactic idea that is not very hard, not very like easy to understand, but I'm gonna show you in the post-game analysis. So rook d2 now, whenever you can play rook on the second rank, it's usually the best move. So just gonna go for it, kind of forcing him to play rook b1 if he wants to defend his pawns. And now it's time to bring our king. So something like king d7 is a pretty good move. Then the next step would be to actually do something with my edge, yeah? Because a typical mistake is to actually forget what is your edge and not focus on your stronger side. So our stronger side is this one with 3 pawns against 2. And usually the best way is to start by pushing the passed pawn, which is the c pawn, because there is no other pawn on the c file. So we play c5, and now we just try to push this majority slowly but surely, trying to get a passed pawn eventually, and on a good day, queen it. So he's preparing h5, that's pretty clear. And now I think because rook d2 is available again, it's even a double attack. So gonna go for it, just winning another pawn. He plays h5. See, this is how important it was that we played it. You can just trade and there is no counterplay. And now pick up the f2 pawn. Now these pawns are becoming targets, so I could definitely go rook b2, but that will allow rook takes on f7, which is still not saving, but giving him a tiny bit of counterplay, which there is no reason why would we. Defend that first, pick up b2, then pick up a2, no way for him to save. Okay, look at this, he's attacking this. We have no mercy, b6, no pawns, guys. You don't need to give away anything if you don't have to. So go here. That will actually, this video is actually literally gonna make me look like a very cheap person, but trust me, I'm not. So yeah, just gonna go rook e2. It's just sometimes good in these situations not to allow counterplay. Just don't give him anything. Rook e4 now, trying to get rid of the king. Oh, the king is going on a bit of a journey, I'm afraid. Just gonna give a check out of panic. And then I think it's time to actually start pushing our passed pawns, okay? At this point, it's kind of hard to protect that, but when the king is so far away from the pawns, we don't really mind. So you can just push the pawns and get away with that. Okay, I think this may be even more instructive if I just go like rook b5. I could play rook c2 and try to win with that pawn, but I think most instructive is if I lose these two pawns and you just want to get into this book win type of endgame, okay? Where, let's say, this happens, I somehow blundered this by queening, I don't see that he's protecting, and now I take, and he's gonna take. But this is one of the really important fundamental endgames. Okay, just king f6, so we have this protected. This is an important fundamental endgame where you've got rook with two connected pawns. You've got a very easy book win. Oh, there you go, the blue color. So yeah, this is, you get into this position, that's like an instant win. So if you have this position, that's kind of okay. A bit unclear. Sure, it's obviously winning, but you haven't seen a situation like that before. You just want to get yourself into the book win. That's the easiest way to win these winning positions. Just always try to get a book win. That's what I'm doing. I'm just giving away pawns for no reason, just so we can get into a book win. Now, what am I going to do with the rook? That's the important part. There's many ways you can play this. The most efficient way would be to go rook d5 and keep this king cut into this box, and then we just push our pawns. I can definitely play king g6 as well and just go f5. That's another way to do it, which I think I will. Just because the rook is well placed and we need to push the pawns, and yeah, I think that's a pretty smooth way of doing it. I don't think there's like much point in really explaining how this game is won. Okay, now that he wants king d6 and perhaps infiltrating, I'm not gonna give him that. I'm gonna just go rook d5. Just making sure the king is restricted. And then I just want to go f5 next. So for him, the trickiest move would be rook e7, not allowing me to play f5. But even against that, what would I do? Good question. I'm actually not sure what I would have done. Probably just, yeah, rook d1, just perhaps just trying to keep him cut on the side. And then king f6, e5. There's like so many ways you can win. This is like not even relevant. I'm just going to do f5 now. This game is exactly like my channel, guys. It's not even relevant on how you need to win this. Just king f6. Hitting and defending against that flat. Hitting the rook. And, well, next we could think of pushing some pawns. Okay, he just takes, but we're going to protect the rook in the same time. And even if he kept the rook... Oh, he wants to chat. Oh, he said, mierde. Alright, what is this flag? St. Lucia, okay. I don't know what that means, but maybe you guys can let me know in the comments of the video. Won't get taken down. And okay. Just because this is a very instructive video, I'm gonna try to show you how to win with king and rook against king. Because I feel like way too many players that are below 1000 struggle to checkmate with this endgame. So we're gonna actually just say it's like this situation where the enemy king is in the center, so it takes the most amount of moves. Yeah, well, first of all, however you're trying to do this, okay, I usually like to teach this in a different way. Yeah, let's say we just check him. So let's say he goes to d4, hopefully. Yeah, he tries to stay in the center. And now, if we play king d6, you're gonna notice he keeps running away. So we move the rook as far as we can onto the opposite side. Whenever we face the enemy king, we want to go for the check. And he goes that. We go king e3. Okay, opposition. He moves away. Okay, if we keep doing that, that's no progress. So here, this is where like most of the lower rated players mess this part up and they don't get the mate. You need to make a waiting move. So what are the options? Rook before he plays king c3, attacking the rook. That's no good. So it's better to just do waiting move. Move the rook all the way to the other side. Oh, here for the draw. Thinks it's a draw. We play this on. Play this on. Goes king e3. The kings are facing each other. So whenever the kings are facing each other, we're gonna be going for the check. Now that he moves one file back, we're still gonna try to do this opposition thing. When the rook gets hit, we just move it all the way to the other side. Okay, kings are facing each other. And I'm just gonna go rook a2. I'm just gonna be facing the king again. He offers a draw. Again, oh my god, this opponent wants to draw so much. So you see, now he's actually not letting me stay in front. Like if I go there, he's gonna move away. So here, the important part, you just need to get the rook onto the opposite side of the board. And now what's actually gonna happen, he's in the Zugzwang, he's gonna have to run towards the corner, and we're gonna catch him in Zugzwang. King c3, king a1, king b3, and then his only move will be king b1. That's like the main Zugzwang that you need to know. And then rook h1 is gonna be a checkmate. Just need to get into this pattern. All right, that was pretty funny. I don't know. I shouldn't be trolling these people. But I mean, he tried to troll me in the first place, guys. I think if there's like a bad guy out of like this situation, opponent is the bad guy because he tried tricking me thinking this is a draw. Right? I think so. That's like not very nice of him, right? So he started offering the draw, that's why I trolled him. Otherwise, I wouldn't have trolled him for no reason. So yeah, I hope we're okay on that. Okay, now I wanted to show you that critical moment in the rook endgame. So we went for the endgame. And yeah, this is important because, well, I played g6, which is like second best move, apparently. Rook d3 a bit more precise, but okay, not very logical to explain. If I go rook d2, I think he had important move h5, yeah? You see? h5 first line, and it's like not even a win. Do you see that, guys, on the screen? The eval? So it was important. I kind of seized that this could be the only way he could get counterplay. Like rook g1, okay, we're up a million pawns, but rook g7, he's attacking these. The eval already goes to, I'm actually losing in this position, believe it or not. Because he's going to be able to go rook g8, and then he's going to queen. So I felt like, okay, this may be the only way he could get counterplay. Let's fix the weak pawn. So I hope that's kind of an instructive move for you guys. It was definitely not an easy find. I spent quite a lot of time on this decision. It was definitely a super important move. But then everything was pretty smooth. We had everything under control. Yeah, just push the pawn. By the way, already instead of, yeah, no, c5 was a good move, and then rook d2 double attack. Just not give him any counterplay. So, all right. I hope you find this game somewhat instructive, guys, on how to win with the extra pawn, and we can move on to the following game.